Have you ever wondered what makes ordinary, everyday life so extraordinarily rich with experiences and stories? From the food we eat to the places we visit, from our childhood memories to our dreams, dreams for the future, life is a tapestry of countless moments that shape who we are. Today, I invite you on a journey through the fabric of daily life, exploring the common experiences that connect us all, no matter where we come from. I'm Grace, and in this special episode, we'll travel together through the familiar landscapes of everyday existence, the comfort foods that bring us joy, the hobbies that spark our passion, the friendships that sustain us, and the dreams that drive us forward. Whether you're learning English or simply looking to reflect on the beauty of ordinary life, this journey promises to be both enlightening and heartwarming. So settle in, perhaps with a cup of your favorite beverage, and let's begin our exploration of life's simple, yet profound, pleasures and experiences, the things that make us uniquely human and universally connected. Let's start our journey with something that brings people together across all cultures and backgrounds: food. Food is much more than just sustenance. It's a celebration of culture, a carrier of tradition, and a source of comfort and joy. Think about it. Some of our strongest memories are often tied to meals shared with loved ones, or the distinctive taste of our childhood. In Canada, where I live, we're incredibly fortunate to have access to a remarkable diversity of foods. Our multicultural society means that on any given day, you might enjoy a hearty breakfast of pancakes and maple syrup, grab Thai food for lunch, and prepare an Italian pasta dish for dinner. This culinary diversity reflects our country's identity as a mosaic of cultures and traditions. When I think about my own food preferences, I find myself drawn to various categories. Meat dishes like hot dogs, hamburgers, and steak are popular comfort foods that many of us enjoy at backyard barbecues or casual gatherings. Something deeply satisfying about a perfectly grilled steak or a juicy hamburger topped with fresh ingredients. Dairy products form another cornerstone of many diets. Cheese, ice cream, and yogurt not only taste a delish from, but also provide essential nutrients like calcium and protein. I have a particular weakness for ice cream, that cold, creamy sweetness on a hot summer day is one of life's simple but perfect pleasures. What about you? Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor that brings back memories or simply makes you smile? Vegetables and fruits round out a nutritious diet, providing vital vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Broccoli, cabbage, carrots, and peas might not excite everyone's taste buds, but they form the foundation of countless healthy meals. As for fruits, there's something special about enjoying them in season. The first strawberries of summer, bursting with flavor, or the juicy sweetness of a perfectly ripe peach in late August. The abundance of fresh produce in Canada is something I never take for granted. Our orchards and farms produce a stunning variety of fruits and vegetables, making it possible to eat locally and seasonally throughout much of the year. From the apple orchards of Ontario to the berry farms of British Columbia, our agricultural landscape is rich and diverse. One of the most wonderful aspects of food in our modern world is the availability of cuisine from around the globe. In my city alone, we can find Italian, Greek, Mexican, Chinese, and dozens of other international restaurants. Each offers a unique window into another culture's traditions, flavors, and techniques. Italian restaurants bring us pasta and the comforting richness of dishes like lasagna. Greek cuisine offers the bright flavors of the Mediterranean, lemon, oregano, and the distinctive tang of feta cheese. Mexican food delivers vibrant combinations of spices, beans, rice, and corn in dishes like tacos, enchiladas, and mole. Chinese restaurants present the complex balance and textures characterizes this ancient culinary tradition. Exploring these different cuisines allows us to travel the world without leaving our hometown. Each meal becomes a mini cultural experience, expanding our palates and our understanding of the diverse ways people around the world approach food preparation. Of course, not everything we eat falls into the category of nutritious. There's a time and place for treats like potato chips and candies, foods that might not contribute much to our physical health, but certainly bring joy and satisfaction in moderation. These fun foods are often part of celebrations, movie nights, or simple moments of indulgence. The key to a healthy relationship with food lies in balance. Enjoying a primarily nutritious diet while making room for treats and cultural explorations. Food is meant to nourish both body and soul, providing not just the nutrients we need to thrive, but also the sensory pleasures and social connections that enrich our lives. As you think about your own relationship with food, consider the dishes that hold special meaning for you. Perhaps it's a family recipe, passed down through generations, a meal that reminds you of a particular place or time, or simply a flavor combination that brings you joy. These person-food connections form an important part of our individual stories and collective experiences. Moving from the dinner table to the hobby room, let's explore another essential aspect of a fulfilling life: hobbies and leisure. Leisure activities. Hobbies provide us with opportunities for creativity, skill development, relaxation, and social connection outside of our work or school responsibilities. Unlike careers, which often come with external pressures and expectations, Hobbies are pursuits we choose freely because they bring us joy, satisfaction, or a sense of accomplishment. They allow us to express our personalities, develop new abilities, and find communities of like-minded enthusiasts. Some people, like my father, find fulfillment in creating miniature worlds. His model railroad set is a masterpiece of patience and attention to detail. Tiny electric trains win their way through meticulously crafted landscapes, complete with make-believe villages, tunnels, and mountains. Each element has been carefully selected and placed to create a cohesive, scaled down reality. When he works on his railroad, time seems to stand still. He enters a flow state where art and creativity merge. My father's other passion, sailing, takes him from the miniature to the magnificent. Out on the water, he experiences a different kind of freedom and challenge. Harnessing the wind to navigate across a lake or along a coastline requires both technical skill and intuitive understanding. As he teaches me the fundamentals of sailing, I'm beginning to appreciate the complex interplay of forces involved and the deep satisfaction that comes from working in harmony with nature. Collecting represents another category of hobbies that many people enjoy. Whether it's comic books, stamps, coins, dolls, or any other collectible item, there's something fundamentally human about gathering, organizing, and preserving objects that hold special meaning or value. My own collecting interests include comic books, stamps, and coins. Each collection tells a different story and satisfies different aspects of my curiosity. Comic books combine visual art with storytelling, creating immersive fictional worlds filled with compelling characters and situations. Trading comics with friends adds a social dimension to this hobby, while hunting for rare issues in stores or online provides the thrill of the chase. Stamp collecting connects me to the wider world in a unique way. Each stamp is a tiny ambassador from another place and time, carrying with it the imagery, values, and history of its country of origin. My collection includes stamps from England, Japan, Australia, and even Russia, places I haven't visited physically, but can explore through these miniature works of art, examining them with a magnifying glass reveals details invisible to the naked eye, adding an element of discovery to the experience. Coin collecting offers yet another perspective on history and culture. Coins serve as both practical currency and artistic expressions of national identity. My collection is still small, but each piece has a story, like my old Canadian dime, or the intriguing coin with hole in the center from Africa. As tangible objects that have passed through countless hands, coins connect us to the daily lives of people across time and space. For others, creative expression takes different forms. My friend John has discovered his talent for oil painting. What began as a casual interest has developed into a serious pursuit, with his work good enough to attract buyers. His evolution as an artist demonstrates how hobbies can sometimes grow into secondary careers or significant life passions. Similarly, my friend Linda has found her creative outlet in sewing. She designs and creates clothing for herself and friends, developing practical skills while expressing her aesthetic vision. Her hobby will lead to a career in fashion design, illustrating how leisure pursuits sometimes reveal talents and interests that shape our professional trajectories. The beauty of hobbies lies in their diversity and accessibility. Almost any interest, from gardening to photography, from cooking to rock climbing, can develop into a rewarding hobby. Some require significant investment in equipment or materials, while others need nothing more than time and attention. Some are solitary pursuits, offering moments of peaceful focus, while others thrive on community and collaboration. Whatever form they take, hobbies enrich our lives immeasurably. They provide balance to our work responsibilities, outlets for creative energy, opportunities for continuous learning, and sources of accomplishment and pride. They remind us that productivity and purpose exist outside the realms of paid employment or academic achievement. As you consider your own hobbies, current or potential, remember that their primary value lies not in national recognition or external recognition, but in the satisfaction and joy they bring to your life. The best hobbies are those that engage you fully, challenge you appropriately, and reflect your authentic interests and values. In a world that often emphasizes productivity and achievement, making time for pursuits that exist solely for enjoyment and self-expression is not just pleasant, it's essential for well-being and personal growth. Hobbies connect us to our childlike capacity for absorption, wonder, and played qualities, worth preserving throughout our lives. Another dimension of our everyday experience is our response to color. Colors surround us constantly, affecting our moods, choices, and perceptions in both obvious and subtle ways. From the clothes we wear to the environments we create, color plays a significant role in human experience. I've always found purple to be especially appealing. There's something mysterious and regal about this color, which appears relatively rarely in nature. Certain grapes wear this royal hue, and occasionally the sky takes on a purplish tint at dusk or dawn. Perhaps it's this relative scarcity that makes purple seem special and distinctive. Blue. My second favorite color is more abundant in our world. The vast canopy of the sky and the endless expanses of oceans and lakes demonstrate blue in its most magnificent forms. Looking up at a clear blue sky or gazing out over tranquil blue waters creates a sense of spaciousness and possibility. Blue eyes, relatively uncommon in the global population. I have an especially striking quality that has inspired poetry and song throughout human history. Green represents the color of life and growth. In temperate climates, the return of green in spring signals renewal and possibility after winter's dormancy. Forests, meadows, and gardens showcase countless variations of green, from the palest mint to the deepest emerald. In our food, green often indicates freshness and nutritional value. Broccoli, cabbage, beans, lettuce, peas, and cucumbers not only provide essential vitamins and minerals, but also add vibrant color to our plates. Yellow captures the essence of sunshine and energy. This bright attention grabbing hue appears in flowers like daffodils and dandelions, fruits such as bananas, and even in some people's hair. Yellow can lift spirits and create a sense of warmth and optimism. White symbolizes purity and simplicity in many cultures. Winter landscapes blanketed in snow, fluffy clouds against a blue sky, and delicate white flowers all demonstrate this color's clean, pristine quality. In the animal kingdom, creatures like polar bears and some dogs and cats wear white fur that often serves a practical purpose in their natural environments. Red, the color of blood and fire, evokes passion and intensity. Red roses have become universal symbols of romantic love, while red skies at sunrise or sunset create breathtaking natural displays. As one of the most visually dominant colors, red naturally draws our attention and can stimulate feelings of excitement or urgency. Artists combine these colors and countless others to create works that express emotions, capture beauty, or challenge perceptions. Similarly, nature uses this palette to paint our world with extraordinary diversity and harmony. The colors that surround us constitute a fundamental aspect of our sensory experience, influencing everything from our emotional states to our aesthetic preferences. This appreciation for color connects to a broader awareness of the beauty that surrounds us. Our natural environment offers endless visual gifts, from dramatic mountain vistas to tiny, perfect wildflowers. Developing an eye for this beauty enriches our daily experience and reminds us of our responsibility to protect and preserve our remarkable planet. Time represents another fundamental dimension of human experience, invisible, yet omnipresent, constantly shaping our lives in profound ways. We measure our days, organize our activities, and understand our lives through this abstract, yet essential concept. The paradoxical nature of time is something we all experience. When engaged in tedious or unpleasant tasks, time seems to crawl painfully slowly. Yet during moments of joy, connection, or flow, hours can pass in what feels like minutes. This subjective experience of time, reveamply, intertwined is, how with our emotional and psychological states. Despite its subjective aspects, we've developed precise systems for measuring time. Seconds accumulate into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days, day to weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. These units provide structure and shared reference points for coordinating all our individual and collective activities. Our awareness of time begins remarkably early in life. Even young children demonstrate consciousness of their age, often proudly specifying that they are 3.5, rather than simply 3. This early emphasis on precise age measurement reveals quickly we internalize times in our culture. Language reflects our preoccupation with time. Phrases like, "Give me a minute," "Hold on a second," "I'm running out of time," "Time's up," and "Just want an hour of your time," pepper our everyday speech. Our vocabulary is rich with temporal references, indicating how central time awareness is to our thinking and communication. Modern society functions according to clock time. Most of us wear watches or carry phones that display the time, and we check these devices frequently throughout the day. Appointments, meetings, classes, transportation schedules, and countless other aspects of contemporary life are organized around specific times. This temporal coordination enables complex social systems to function, but can often find anxiety when we feel short on time or behind schedule. The finite nature of time gives it special significance. Unlike many resources that can be replaced or replenished, time, once passed, is gone forever. This reality encourages reflection on how we allocate this precious resource. Do we spend our time in alignment with our values and priorities? Do we balance productivity with rest, work with play, solitude with connection? These questions touch on fundamental aspects of a well-lived life. Different cultures and historical periods have dramatically in their relationship to time. Some traditional societies operated according to natural rhythms, daylight and darkness, seasons, and agricultural cycles, rather than clock time. Some contemporary cultures maintain a more relaxed attitude toward punctuality and scheduling than others. Understanding these differences can provide perspective on our own time, related assumptions and practices. As we navigate our temporal existence, finding balance becomes essential. While planning, scheduling, and timeliness serve important functions, becoming overly rigid or anxious about time can diminish our quality of life. Equally, disregarding time coordination would make coordination with others and achievement of goals nearly impossible. The art of living well includes developing a healthy relationship with time respecting its limits while remaining present enough to fully experience each moment. Perhaps the most valuable aspects of our time are the connections we form with others. Friendship represents one of life's greatest treasures, relationships, based not on family obligation or professional necessity, but on mutual affection, understanding, and choice. The process of making friends evolves throughout our lives. As children, friendships often form quickly and spontaneously based on proximity and shared activities. As we mature, we typically become more selective, forming deeper connections based on shared values, compatible personalities, and mutual support through life's challenges. For those who experience shyness, making friends can feel daunting. The fear of rejection or judgment might prevent reaching out to potential friends. Yet, most people respond positively to genuine friendliness and interest. A smile and a simple hello can open doors to conversation and potential connection. The beauty of friendship lies in discovering commonalities with others. These shared interests, experiences, or perspectives create bridges between individuals. Perhaps you attended the same school, enjoy similar music, or share a passion for certain films. Maybe you've had parallel life experiences or hold compatible values and worldviews. Finding these points of connection transforms strangers into potential friends. Truly meaningful friendship involves authentic listening. When we pay genuine attention to others, their words, feelings, and needs, we demonstrate that we value them. This attentiveness builds trust and encourages reciprocal sharing, creating the foundation for lasting connection. Unexpected circumstances often lead to significant friendships. The story of meeting a lost classmate searching for English class illustrates how seemingly random encounters can develop into enduring relationships. Being open to these unplanned connections enriches our lives in ways we couldn't have anticipated. Friendship requires nurturing to thrive. Regular communication, shared experiences, mutual support during difficulties, and celebration of achievements all contribute to friendships. Growth and sustainability. Like gardens, friendships flourish with consistent care and attention. The rewards of friendship are immeasurable. Friends provide companionship, reducing isolation and loneliness. They offer perspective and advice based on their understanding of us as individuals. They support us during challenges and multiply our joy during celebrations. They expand our horizons by sharing their unique knowledge, experiences, and viewpoints. And they mirror back to us aspects of ourselves we might not otherwise recognize, contributing to our self-awareness and personal growth. In a world increasingly characterized by digital communication and virtual interaction, the value of authentic friendship becomes even more significant. While technology can facilitate connection across distances, the depth and quality of in-person relationships remain essential to human well-being and flourishing. While friendships enrich our social landscape, many of us also find profound pleasure and interest in the natural world. Gardens represent special places where human cultivation meets natural growth, creating spaces of beauty, nourishment, and discovery. Stepping into a garden engages all our senses. The visual feast of colors and forms, from the red, white, pink, and yellow roses to the dramatic height of sunflowers, creates an ever-changing display. The fragrances of flowers and herbs fill the air, sometimes delicate and sometimes intoxicatingly rich. The varied textures of leaves, petals, and bark invite touch, while garden fresh vegetables and fruits offer unparalleled tastes. Even the sounds of a garden, buzzing bees, singing birds, rustling leaves, complete this multi-sensory experience. Gardens host remarkable diversity of life. Bees collect pollen from flowers, unwittingly facilitating plant reproduction as they move from bloom to bloom. Ladybugs hunt aphids and other small insects that might damage plants, providing natural pest control. Birds visit to bathe, drink, and feed, particularly enjoying the seeds of plants like sunflowers. Beneath the soil surface, ants create complex networks of tunnels, while snails leave silvery trails as they slowly traverse plant leaves. Vegetable gardens connect us directly to our food sources. The experience of growing, harvesting, and eating food you've cultivated yourself provides unique satisfaction. Fresh peas eaten directly from their pods. Lettuce harvested moments before it appears in a salad. And tomatoes, ripened to perfection on the vine, offer flavors that store, but produce rarely matches. The abundance of a productive garden often becomes community property, with neighbors sharing in the harvest. Growing carrots offers a particularly intriguing experience. While their feathery green tops are visible above ground, the carrots themselves develop beneath the soil. Harvesting requires pulling them from their underground home, revealing their bright orange color as they emerge from the dark earth. Gardens require maintenance to thrive. Weeds compete with cultivated plants for water, nutrients, and sunlight, necessitating regular removal. After rainfall especially, weeds seem to appear overnight, requiring prompt attention to prevent them from overwhelming desired plants. Gardening provides multiple benefits beyond the plants themselves. The physical activity of digging, planting, weeding, and harvesting offers healthy exercise. Fresh air and sunshine contribute to overall well-being, while the focused attention gardening requires can create meditative states that reduce stress and increase mindfulness. The tangible results, beautiful flowers, and nutritious food provide concrete rewards for these efforts. For many people, gardening becomes a lifelong passion that combines creativity, science, physical activity, and connection to natural cycles. Whether tending a few pots on an apartment, balcony, managing extensive landscape gardens, cultivating plants connects us to ancient human traditions while providing contemporary benefits for body, mind, and spirit. Just as gardens reflect the particular characteristics of their locations, countries, and regions, develop distinct identities shaped by geography, history, and culture. Living in Canada provides a particular lens through which to view national identity and diversity. Canada's vast geography encompasses 10 provinces and 3 territories, each with distinctive characteristics and contributions to national identity. This federated structure allows for regional diversity while maintaining national cohesion. Saskatchewan exemplifies prairie landscape, predominantly flat, terrain ideal for agricultural production, particularly wheat. Without oceanic borders, this central province experiences continental climate patterns with significant seasonal temperature variations. British Columbia presents dramatic contrast with its mountainous topography. Though I haven't visited personally, reports of its spectacular beauty are consistent. Mountains, forests, and Pacific coastline combine to create diverse ecosystems and breathtaking vistas. Nova Scotia represents Canada's Atlantic character, with deep historical and economic connections to the ocean. Fishing has traditionally formed the backbone of the provincial economy, shaping community development and cultural practices along the coastline. Regional diversity extends beyond geography to culture and language. Quebec's predominantly French-speaking population maintains distinctive cultural traditions, including literature, music, art, and cuisine. The protection and promotion of French language and culture is central to Quebec's identity within the Canadian Federation. The maritime provinces have developed unique musical traditions, with fiddle and accordion music accompanying distinctive dance forms. These cultural expressions reflect historical influences, including Tetic traditions brought by early European settlers and adapted to local contexts. Nunavut, Canada's newest territory, established in 1999, represents a significant achievement in Indigenous self-governance. Located in the Arctic region, Nunavut communities maintain close relationships with the land and wildlife, with hunting and fishing remaining important, both economically and culturally. The extreme northern climate shapes daily life, with temperatures reaching severely cold levels during winter months. Ontario, my home province, contains both Canada's largest city, Toronto, and its capital, Ottawa. Toronto exemplifies urban Canada, a densely populated metropolia characterized by high-rise buildings, diverse economic activities, and extraordinary cultural diversity. The city offers abundant cultural opportunities, including theaters, museums, restaurants, artistic venues, representing traditions from around the world. The contrast between urban and rural Ontario is striking. Just hours north of Toronto, the landscape transforms into tranquil settings of forests and lakes. Many urban residents maintain cottages in these areas, creating weekend retreats that allow them to experience the peace and natural beauty of rural settings. Canada's identity is fundamentally shaped by cultural diversity. People from countless ethnic backgrounds have established communities throughout the country, bringing their languages, religions, cuisines, and traditions. Rather than expecting assimilation to a single dominant culture, Canadian society generally celebrates this diversity as a collective strength. This approach differs from the melting pot metaphor sometimes used to describe the United States' approach to immigration and diversity. Canada's cultural mosaic philosophy encourages maintenance of distinct cultural identities within the framework of Canadian citizenship and shared values. Education plays a central role in most people's developmental journey. The first day of school represents a significant milestone, often a major transition from the familiar environment of home to the institutional setting, where much formal learning occurs. The anticipation of this transition typically mixes excitement with apprehension. The school building itself can appear imposingly large to a small child, while the presence of older students may intensify feelings of vulnerability. Holding a parent's hand provides security during this journey into the unknown, though emerging independence might prompt letting go of this physical connection. As the school comes into view, the kindergarten classroom represents a crucial transitional space between home and formal education. An effective kindergarten teacher recognizes the emotional significance of this transition and creates a welcoming environment that addresses both academic and social, emotional needs. Introduction to other children, particularly those who might familiar from the neighborhood, helps establish initial social connections. Engagement with classroom materials, toys, art supplies, books provides comfortable entry points into the educational environment. These concrete, often playful materials, the gap between home-based play between more structured learning activities. The separation moment when a parent leaves to the child in the classroom can be emotionally charged. However, engaging activities often facilitate this transition. As children become absorbed in exploration and play, the realization that my mother had left the room without triggering distress demonstrates successful adaptation to the new environment. Kindergarten activities typically balance structured and unstructured elements, singing songs, playing games, listening to stories while introducing foundational concepts and skills. This balanced approach supports holistic development across cognitive, physical, social, and emotional domains, creating tangible mementos, like drawings to take home. Connects the school experience with family life. A parent's recognition and celebration of these creations, such as displaying a drawing on the refrigerator, affirms the value of school-based learning and creative expression. This initial educational experience shapes attitudes toward learning and school. A positive first day establishes school as a good place to meet new friends and learn all about the world, laying groundwork for educational engagement in subsequent years. As children grow, they eventually encounter another significant transition, entry into the workforce. First jobs, often part-time positions during adolescence, introduce young people to new responsibilities, social contexts, and financial independence. My first job at a grocery store exemplifies common entry-level employment. The grocery environment offers various roles requiring different skills and responsibilities. Collecting shopping carts requires physical stamina and attention to safety in the parking lot environment. Produce arrangement combines aesthetic sensibility with knowledge of proper food handling and presentation. Box stacking demands spatial reasoning and careful movement to create stable displays. Customer interaction represents a particularly valuable aspect of retail employment. Responding to questions, providing directions to different departments, and offering assistance develops communication skills and adaptability. These interactions vary widely, requiring employees to adjust their approach based on customer needs and personalities. The uniform requirement reflects the formal nature of employment, distinguishing work identity from personal identity, and creating visual cohesion among store employees. The bi-monthly paycheck introduces the rhythm of compensation for labor, a fundamental aspect of employment relationships. Entry-level positions often inspire consideration of future career possibilities. Observing specialized roles like bakery work or cashiering prompts reflection on personal interests and aptitudes. This exploration of potential career paths represents an important developmental function of early employment experiences. Time work during the school year requires time management skills as young people balance educational and employment responsibilities. Iffingsbaum. This balancing act prepares them for the multiple commitments and priorities that characterize adult life. While technology increasingly shapes our work and leisure activities, television remains a significant part of many People's media consumption. Despite competition from streaming services, social media, and other entertainment options, viewing preferences often differ among family members, reflecting diverse interests and entertainment needs. Saturday morning cartoons traditionally attracted younger viewers with animated content designed to entertain through humor, fantasy, and simplified narratives. The shared experience of watching favorite cartoon characters and stories creates both individual enjoyment and potential social bonding among siblings or friends with similar preferences. Sports programming appeals to those who enjoy athletic competition, whether professional leagues or amateur events. Baseball, with its strategic elements and traditional summer associations, exemplifies spectator sports that combine appreciation for athletic skill with emotional in-team performance. Parental guidance regarding television includes encouraging outdoor activity rather than extended indoor viewing, particularly during favorable weather conditions. This guidance reflects concerns about balancing screen time with physical activity and direct engagement with the natural and social world. Different family members often prefer different television genres, comedy programs, with their emphasis on humor and often lighter themes, provide entertainment and emotional release through laughter. Shows depicting real-life situations offer viewers opportunities to consider human relationships through dramatic representation. News broadcasts connect households to broader local, national, and international developments, informing citizens about current events. Some family members may prefer alternatives to television entirely. Reading books or newspapers represents a different form of information and entertainment consumption, engaging different cognitive processes and allowing for personalized pacing and reflection. Remote controls have transformed viewing habits, enabling channel surfing, the practice of briefly sampling multiple programs, rather than committing to a single broadcast. This technological development has significant implications for attention patterns and content engagement. Educational programming offers informative content on subjects ranging from natural history to scientific concepts. Documentaries about dinosaurs and rainforests exemplify how television can supplement formal education and inspire interest in academic subjects. Regardless of content preferences, moderation in television consumption remains important. Excessive viewing can displace other valuable activities, including social interaction, physical exercise, creative pursuits, and academic engagement. Finding appropriate balance allows television to serve as one component of a varied, enriching life, rather than dominating leisure time. Museums offer different forms of educational experience Immersive environments, where visitors encounter physical artifacts, artistic creations, and curated information about natural and human history. These institutions preserve cultural heritage while making it accessible to contemporary audiences. The diversity of museum collections often requires selective attention during visits. The breadth and depth of exhibits typically exceed what can be meaningfully absorbed in a single visit, necessitating choices about where to focus attention and time. Historical clothing exhibits reveal how fashion has evolved in response to cultural values, technological capabilities, practical needs, and aesthetic preferences across different time periods. The observation that these historical garments look like they would be uncomfortable demonstrates these plates can prompt reflection on everyday experiences across time, encouraging empathy with people from different historical contexts. War-related artifacts, bullets, cannons, and military uniforms document humanity's history of armed conflict, while acknowledging war is not a good thing. Museums play important roles in preserving memories of historical conflicts and honoring those who participated in them, particularly those who lost their lives in military service. Technological evolution appears in exhibits like the horse-drawn fire truck, illustrating how essential services operated before motorized vehicles. Historical photographs contextualize these artifacts, showing them in actual use and connecting objects to the people who used them. Period rooms recreate historical domestic environments, displaying furniture, tools, and household items in context. Antique irons, sewing machines, and washboards demonstrate how people accomplished everyday tasks without modern appliances, often requiring significantly more physical labor and time. The recognition that electricity and modern appliances have made life so much how Museumsits contemporary appreciation for contemporary conveniences that might otherwise be taken for granted. Ancient civilizations like Egypt, through artifacts such as mummies and associated cultural items. These exhibits connect visitors to cultures separated by both geography and vast time periods, expanding understanding of human experience beyond familiar contemporary contexts. Indigenous artifacts such as arrowheads and traditional baby cradles document the cultures, technologies, and domestic practices of Native American communities. Though it's essential that these materials be presented respectfully and ideally with the cultural groups they represent. Museums ideally function not just as collections objects, but as spaces for active imagination and personal connection. The attempt to imagine my grandparents using some of the things that were on display demonstrate museums' can bridge personal and historical narratives, connecting individual family histories to broader historical contexts. While museums connect us to the past, pet stores engage our interest in the animals that share our present world and often our homes. These retail environments combine commercial purposes with opportunities to observe and interact with various species. Pet stores typically organize merchandise according to animal categories: dog supplies, cat products, bird care items, fish equipment, reflecting the specialized needs of different species. This organization helps pet owners locate appropriate food, housing, grooming tools, and enrichment items for their particular companions. The live animal displays constitute the central attraction for many visitors. Colorful tropical fish in aquariums create constantly moving visual that captivate attention. The observation that the fish were swimming around highlights the dynamic nature of these exhibits compared to static merchandise displays. Goldfish in smaller bowls represent more accessible pet options, requiring less specialized equipment and expertise than tropical fish in larger tanks. The transaction observed to transfer a goat fit to a new owner, goldfish at home, illustrates the retail function of the store while suggesting this human desire for animal companionship. The talking parrot demonstrates how some animals can interact with humans in particularly engaging ways. The limited vocabulary, hello, love you, bird, bye, illustrates the capacity of certain bird species to mimic human speech, creating a sense of communication across species boundaries. Puppies typically generate strong emotional responses from visitors. Their active behavior, running around and chasing their own tails, exemplifies the playful energy that makes puppies particularly appealing. The physical interaction of having a puppy leak. One's hand creates a moment of connection that strengthens the appeal of potentially adopting a dog. Kittens present a different form of appeal, often alternating between playful activity and peaceful rest. The observation of one kitten curled up into a ball, with its face not even visible, illustrates the distinctive resting postures that many find endearing in felines. The expressed desire to take all of the animals home reflects the emotional impact these encounters can have, especially on children developing empathy and connection with other species. This sentiment also raises important considerations about responsible pet adoption, ensuring proper matching between animals' needs and potential owners' capabilities and resources. Pet stores ideally function as environments where people about animal care requirements while making informed decisions about pet adoption. Responsible merchandising includes educating customers about the commitments involved in pet ownership, including financial resources, time investment, and appropriate housing and care practices. While pet stores focus on animals as companions, police officers work to maintain public safety and order. Law enforcement plays essential roles in community functioning. Those specific practices and community relationships vary across different locations and contexts. Childhood messages about police officers as helpers establish an early framework for understanding law enforcement's community role. The advice that I was lost, I could go up to a policeman and he would help me. My way home. Presents officers as trustworthy resources during vulnerable moments. Police uniforms serve practical and symbolic functions, creating visual identification while representing official authority. Various transportation modes, police cars, bicycles, motorcycles enable officers to patrol different environments effectively, while maintaining visibility and accessibility. I acknowledgement that police work can sometimes be dangerous. Recognizes the genuine risks officers may face. Responsibilities including apprehending people who violate laws, pursuing individuals attempting to escape, and de-escalating volatile situations all involve potential physical and psychological hazards. Professional preparation for police work involves lot of training, ideally including technical skills, legal knowledge, tactical capabilities, and crucially, effective communication and human relations abilities. The observation that it's important to be able to deal with people effectively highlights the fundamentally interpersonal nature of law enforcement work. Specialized police roles, like canine units, demonstrate how human-animal partnerships enhance certain law enforcement functions. Dogs' exceptional sensory capabilities, particularly their acute sense of smell, enable them to locate people or objects in ways humans cannot, whether tracking individuals or detecting hidden items like contraband or evidence. The description of the officer and dog as partners who share a home illustrates how the working relationship often involve deep bonds between handler and animal, transcending purely functional connections. Traffic enforcement represents one of the most visible and common police functions. Officers monitor compliance with safety regulations, including speed limits and seatbelt requirements, employing discretionary judgment in determining appropriate responses, warnings, citations, or in more serious cases, arrests. The recognition that police officers are just doing their job. People acknowledges the institutional role officers fulfill rather than personalizing enforcement actions. The observation that some people need to be arrested and put in jail to make it safer. The rest of them. The societal function of law enforcement in maintaining public safety and social order. Modern understanding of law enforcement continues to evolve, with increasing emphasis on community, policing, procedural justice, de-escalation techniques, and addressing systemic biases. Effective policing balances and chew from responsibilities with community service and protection of individual rights. Ideally budding relationships, characterized by mutual respect and trust. While police officers work to maintain safety in human communities, zoos allow us to observe and learn about animal species from around the world in controlled environments. These institutions serve educational, conservation, and entertainment functions. Though perspectives on captive animal facilities continue to evolve, class field trips to zoos create memorable learning experiences that extend education beyond classroom walls. These excursions combine academic content with social experiences, creating distinctive memories that often remain vivid years later. Lions' exemplematic megafauna that typically attract significant visitor attention. Their physical power, majestic appearance, and cultural associations as king of the forest contribute to their popularity and impact. The observation that this title suits him reflects how direct observation can reinforce cultural narratives about animal species. Monkeys demonstrate behavioral complexity and expressiveness that creates particularly engaging viewing experiences. Their apparent curiosity about human visitors, looking at us just as much as we looked at them, suggests reciprocal observation across species boundaries. Acrobatic movements like swinging from branches and social behaviors showcase their physical capabilities and complex social relationships. The observation of a baby monkey clinging to its mother's back highlights the opportunity zoos provide to witness different life stages and familial relationships among animals. Tiger exhibits often feature these large cats pacing back and forth, behavior that may reflect the spatial limitations of captive environments compared to natural territories. While visitors typically focus on the visual appeal of tigers, distinctive striped patterns, this restless movement raises important considerations about behavioral needs in captive settings. Giraffes demonstrate unique physiological adaptations, particularly their remarkable height that enables them to leaves off the tallest trees. This specialized feeding niche illustrates evolutionary adaptations to specific ecological contexts. Parrots' ability to mimic human speech creates interactive experiences between visitors and animals. This vocalization capability, relatively rare in the animal kingdom, often proves particularly memorable for children. Exotic and unfamiliar species, described as very strange, expand visitors' understanding of biological diversity beyond locally familiar animals. These encounters with unfamiliar species can inspire curiosity about global ecosystems and evolutionary processes. Various bear species, black bears, polar bears, and pandas demonstrate how related species adapt to different environments through distinctive physical characteristics and behaviors. Personal connections sometimes form through these observations, as illustrated by the friend who bought a toy panda. There the pandas were so cute. This souvenir purchasing behavior represents one. Way visitors extend zoo experiences below the visit itself. Snake exhibits often elicit stronger emotional responses than mammal displays. The observation that most of the girls were afraid of the snakes reflects common phobic reactions to reptiles, particularly those with potentially dangerous capabilities. The zookeeper's careful handling and the snake's defensive hissed response demonstrate the specialized knowledge required for managing reptile collections safely. Elephants, with their extraordinary size and intelligence, frequently create powerful impressions on visitors. The described interaction, raising its trunk and making a loud vocalization among visitors. How direct observation of these massive animals can produce emotional and physical responses that differ from simply seeing images or videos. Simply see images or videos. Contemporary zoos increasingly emphasize conservation education, participating in breeding programs for endangered species, supporting habitat protection initiatives, and educating visitors about environmental challenges. Best practices continue to evolve regarding exhibit design, enrichment programs, veterinary care, and ethical considerations about which species can thrive in captive environments. Seasonal celebrations, like Christmas, provide different kinds of opportunities for community and family connection. These annual traditions combine religious significance, cultural practices, decorative aesthetics, gift exchanges, and special foods, creating multi-sensory experiences that mark the calendar and strengthen social bonds. The December holiday period typically it's both school vacations and workplace holidays, creating opportunities for extended family time and special activities. This coordinated calendar enables intergenerational gatherings and community celebrations that might otherwise be constrained by everyday schedules. Holiday decorations transform both exterior and interior spaces, creating visual markers of the season's special nature. Outdoor light displays lights that twinkle and glow, illuminate winter darkness, while distinctive symbols like Santa Claus and reindeer figure communicate cultural narratives associated with the holiday. These decorative traditions blend religious symbolism, cultural mythology, commercial elements, and aesthetic preferences in ways that vary across households and communities. Christmas trees, whether natural or artificial, typically serve as focal points for indoor decorations. The sensory appeal of real pine trees. Real pine trees smell nice. Adds olfactory dimensions to the experience. Though practical considerations about fire safety require attention. Decorative elements including tinsel, ornaments, lights, and tree toppers transform these trees into personalized displays that often include fanalooms or handmade items with sentimental significance. Gift exchanges form central traditions in many Christmas celebrations. The description of a gift, wrapped in red paper, with a big green bow, highlights the visual presentation aspects of gift giving. With the traditional Christmas colors of red and green cultural associations specific to this holiday. Stocking traditions connect contemporary celebrations to long-standing folklore about Santa Claus coming down the chimney to leave gifts. These smaller gift collections create additional excitement and anticipation, particularly for children, maintaining belief in Santa Claus. The Christmas morning discovery of stocking contents often constitutes the first celebratory moment of the day, establishing a festive atmosphere for subsequent activities. Holiday food traditions typically feature special meals that may require significant preparation and often follow family-specific recipes and customs. The description of a big turkey dinner with lots of vegetables and good-tasting foods. And Syphis illustrates how holiday dining meals often exceed everyday dining in both quantity and variety. These culinary traditions enable transmission of family heritage through shared recipes while creating sensory memories associated with particular flavors and aromas. Carol singing represents one of the holiday's distinctive musical traditions. The described scenario, carolers arriving at the door while it was snowing outside, combines auditory, visual, and emotional elements into a particularly memorable experience. The reciprocal exchange, financial donation, and hot chocolate offered in appreciation for singing demonstrate how these traditions create momentary but meaningful community connections. Charitable activities often become particularly prominent during Christmas celebrations. The description of collecting food, gifts, and money for people in town who cannot afford to have Christmas recognizes economic disparities while creating opportunities for developing generosity and empathy. The observation about good feeling that comes from sharing with people who do not have as much as you do highlights how giving can benefit both recipients and givers. The parental message that Christmas is a time for giving, not receiving, represents values transmission within family contexts. This guidance attempts to counterbalance commercial aspects of the holiday that might otherwise emphasize acquisition over generosity and connection. Geographic locations like Niagara Falls offer distinct experiences shaped by natural features, cultural developments, and economic activities. This word famous destination demonstrates how exceptional natural phenomena can generate entire economic ecosystems based on tourism and related industries. Living in a globally renowned destination creates a unique perspective that combines every familiarity with appreciation of extraordinary natural features. While local residents may become accustomed to the waterfall's presence, they retain awareness of these features, exceptional nature, and international significance. The waterfalls themselves represent the primary attraction, drawing visitors from around the world. Their visual impact derives from both their scale and the dynamic movement of water, creating experiences that engage multiple senses. The sight of tumbling water, the sound of its thunderous descent, and even the tactile sensation of mist on one's skin. Nighttime illumination enhances these effects through colored lighting that dramatizes the fall's natural features, creating different aesthetic experiences between day and evening viewing. Tourism infrastructure has developed extensively around this natural wonder, creating economic opportunities through gift shops, museums, hotels, and various services catering to visitors' needs and interests. This observation that tourism is very important to the Niagara Falls, and many people acknowledges the economic significance of visitor spending, low employment, and business development. Transportation options for seeing the falls have diversified beyond simple observation points to include bus tours, horse-drawn carriages in nearby Niagara, on the lake balloon rides, and helicopter overflights. These varied options provide different perspectives on the natural formation, while catering different visitor preferences, physical capabilities, and price points. Seasonal variations in tourism create distinct rhythms in local activity, with summer typically representing peak visitation periods. This seasonality affects employment patterns, business operations, and community dynamics throughout the year. The microclimate created by the falls produces distinctive local conditions, including mist, sometimes creates the impression of rainfall near the falls. This phenomenon demonstrates how major natural features can generate their own weather effects that become part of the local experience. Cultural narratives and historical events associated with the falls add layers of significance beyond the natural formation itself. The reference to the Maid of the Mist acknowledges indigenous legends connected to the site, while stories about daredevils attempting to conquer the falls through barrel descents or tightrope walking document human responses to this powerful natural phenomenon. These accumulated stories and traditions enrich visitors' understanding while connecting present-day experiences to historical contexts. Safety considerations remain essential given the fall's power and potential dangers. The statement, "I stay behind the railings when I look at the falls," acknowledges the respect due to natural forces that, while beautiful, can also be hazardous without appropriate precautions. Libraries represent different kinds of community resources, providing access to information, entertainment, and cultural materials in shared spaces designed for learning and exploration. These institutions remain relevant even in digital eras by offering both traditional and evolving services and resources. Personal affinity for libraries, described as one of my favorite places, reflects their function as welcoming, accessible spaces that accommodate diverse interests and needs. The dual purpose of visiting: to get books for school, to get demonstrates how libraries simultaneously support formal education and personal enrichment or entertainment. Seasonal reading patterns often develop based on academic calendars and available leisure time. The summer preference for reading mysteries for fun contrasts with school year reading that might focus more on curriculum requirements. The image of sitting outside and reading in summer creates associations between reading, pleasant weather, and relaxation. Research activities represent core library functions, providing resources that might otherwise be unavailable or unaffordable for individual users. Reference materials, like dictionaries and atlases, contain specialized information organized for efficient access, supporting academic projects and information needs across various subjects. Collaborative study represents another important library function, with designated spaces where small groups can work together while respecting the generally quiet atmosphere. The social dimension of library use. Some of my friends go with me, and we sit at the tables and do our homework. How these institutions foster both individual and collective learning experiences. I am our many foods to choose from in library expectations in Larry's is established conducive to concentration and respect for shared resources. The acknowledgement that people have to be quiet when they're in a library recognizes how these behavioral norms differ from those in many other public spaces, creating environments specifically designed for focused attention and thought. Information literacy skills developed through library use, including learning how to use the computer to find books with assistance from professional librarians, This instructional role helps patrons develop capabilities for independent research and resource location, building competencies, transferable to various information, seeking contexts, responsibility for shared resources like returning borrowed materials. A bill don't get a fine. This aspect of library use helps of the awareness of community obligations and resource stewardship. Personal collections sometimes develop alongside library usage. With books received, gifts beginning to form. IO Library. Actions demonstrates how the library experience rates. How library experiences with books and reading that extend beyond institutional walls. Reading as a good hobby, potentially shared across family members, illustrates how literacy practices often develop within social contexts. Family reading cultures support individual literacy development while creating shared references and experiences. Modern libraries have expanded beyond traditional book collections to include diverse media formats. The availability of videos and compact discs demonstrates how libraries have evolved to encompass changing information and entertainment technologies. Library cards provide authorized access to these varied resources, allowing patrons to borrow materials according to established lending policies. Specialized interest areas develop within individual reading practices, as illustrated by the mother's interest in magazine recipes and the father's on construction for building projects. Information for building projects. These examples demonstrate how libraries support practical applications and skill development alongside recreational reading and academic research. Children's literature sections cater to developing readers, often organized to facilitate discovery and engagement. The brothers' interest in books about trains exemplifies how early reading often connects to specific enthusiasms that motivate engagement with text. The observation that reading is a good habit to get into reflects recognition of reading's lifelong benefits for knowledge acquisition, language development, empathy building, and intellectual exploration. Library services support this habit of formation by providing accessible materials without the financial barriers of individual purchase. Career exploration represents an important developmental process as young people consider possible adult occupations and identities. This contemplation of future work roles involves assessing personal interests, abilities, values, and available opportunities. The reflection. I have been thinking about what I'd like to be when I grow up. Demonstrates healthy engagement with future planning while recognizing the multiple possibilities available. The observation that there are so many choices acknowledges the complexity of career decision, making in societies with diverse occupational options. Family occupations often provide initial reference points for career consideration. The mention of potentially becoming father illustrates how children's exposure to parental work creates familiarity and potential identification with certain professions. These family connections can provide realistic understanding of occupational requirements and characteristics, while sometimes creating expectations or pressure regarding career choices. Interest-based career exploration connects personal enthusiasms with potential occupations. The statement, "I like animals. Maybe I should be a veterinarian," demonstrates connecting affinity for animals with professional work caring for them. This association with veterinary medicine immediately confronts practical realities, however, as the observation about the cat who wasn't too happy at the veterinarian acknowledges that even appealing professions involve challenging aspects. Various occupational categories emerge during career exploration. Agricultural work. I could be a farmer and grow vegetables. Healthcare professions. Often maybe I could be a doctor and cure people. Performance careers. A famous sports person or a singer. Protective services. A policeman or a fireman. Legal professions. I could be a lawyer. And skilled trades. A carpenter. Or a welder. All represent broad career areas with distinctive characteristics, requirements, and contributions. Media representations significantly influence career awareness and perceptions. The comment about watching shows about lawyers defending people illustrates how entertainment media shapes understanding of professional roles, sometimes accurately but often with dramatized or simplified portrayals that may not fully represent day-to-day realities. Speech capabilities receive particular attention in legal professions, with the observation that lawyers have to be able to speak well, identifying a core professional competency. This recognition demonstrates developing awareness of how different occupations require different skill sets. Service industries present additional options, including restaurant work involving food preparation or customer service. Transportation careers like airline pilot or ship captain represent other possibilities, illustrating the breadth of occupational categories available in complex economies. Educational requirements vary significantly across occupations, with some requiring a lot of education, others lot of training. This recognition of varied pathways acknowledges diversity in career development routes, potentially including university education, vocational training, apprenticeships, or on-the-job learning. The concluding statement that it's all up to me, I can be whatever I want to be, expresses optimism and agency regarding career development. While economic opportunities, educational access, and various social factors significantly influence actual career pathways, this sense of possibility and personal choice represents an important cycle foundation for career exploration and planning. The aging process represents another fundamental aspect of human experience affecting individuals, relationships, and communities across the lifespan. Observing these changes in family members, particularly grandparents, often provides children with their first awareness of aging's physical and cognitive manifestations. I have many foods to choose from with aging become visibly apparent to young observers. The grandfather who previously could carry on his shoulders, but now sits a cane, demonstrates how strength and mobility often decrease with advancing age. Hair loss. A grandfather used to have lots of hair. Now he is bald. And skin changes, more wrinkled, represent other observable physical formations that children readily notice. Energy levels typically shift with aging, with increased rest periods becoming necessary. I have the observation that my grandfather takes more naps than he used to, reflects changing stamina and recovery needs. These alterations in physical capacity and appearance often prompt children's questions and concerns, creating opportunities for family discussions about life cycle changes. Health management becomes increasingly prominent in later life. Regular medical appointments and medications for heart disease represent common aspects of healthcare for older adults. The emotional response. I love my grandfather very much. I don't like the fact that he is getting older. Demonstrates the challenging aspects of witnessing loved ones experience aging, related changes, and health challenges. Parental guidance to help children contextualize these observations within broader life cycle understanding. The mother's explanation that growing older is just a fact of life, and we'll all get older. Places in experiences within universal human patterns, helping children develop realistic expectations while reducing anxiety about observed changes. Cognitive changes sometimes accompany aging, with memory functions often affected. The observation that sometimes my grandfather forgets things acknowledges these changes, while the advice to be patient provides guidance for appropriate supportive responses. Reciprocal caregiving often develops as relationships evolve over time. The child who now ups my grandfather as much as I can by assisting with walking, providing emotional support, retrieving items, and reading aloud demonstrates how relationships adapt to changing capabilities and needs. The recognition that he used to read to me when I was little, but now needs reading assistance due to vision changes, illustrates this role. evolution particularly clearly. Oral anis foods tus fran visham. Oral history transmission representation of intergenerational relationships. The grandfather's stories about when he was a boy provide windows into different historical periods and life circumstances. The observation that the world was a very different place then acknowledges historical change, while finding the stories interesting, demonstrates engagement with this personal historical knowledge. Empathic imagination. Sometimes I wish we could trade places for a day so that I would know. Would developing old. Reflect. Developing felting. Katie's in concern for others. Concern for others' experiences. This imaginative engagement with different life stages helps bend understanding across generations. Attitude significantly affects adaptation to aging. The grandfather, who doesn't complain, jokes about his old bones, demonstrates resilience and humor in response to physical changes. These positive coping approaches often influence younger generations' perceptions of aging and later life adaptation. The expressed hope that is around for a long time acknowledges mortality awareness while emphasizing the valued relationship. This sentiment reflects the emotional significance of grandparent-grandchild bonds and the desire for continued connection despite awareness of life's finite nature. Memories constitute another fundamental aspect of human experience, creating continuity of identity while connecting us to people, places, and experiences across time. The question about the most valuable things that I owned prompts reflection on what truly matters, leading to the realization that material possessions could be replaced, while photographs representing memories could not. Photographs function as memories that are captured on film, providing visual documentation of people and experiences. Their special significance often relates to irreplaceable connections. People who are no longer with us, making these images particularly precious. Has tangible links to loved ones and past experiences. Memories themselves are characterized as precious, serving as sometimes exclusive connections to days gone by. Selective memory typically emphasizes positive experiences. I remember the good times. I try to relive them in my mind sometimes. Though sad memories also form part of personal history, the acknowledgement that even painful memories are all a part of my life demonstrates integration of diverse experiences into coherent identity. Social connections leave psychological imprints that persist beyond physical presence. The observation that people come into our lives and people leave our lives, but most people leave a memory for us, recognizes how relationships continue to influence through their lasting mental representations, even after actual contact ends. Photographs serve as memory triggers, flooding remembrances to come, flooding back into my brain. These visual recollections of what people were like when they were younger, specific events like vacations, and even ordinary days that would otherwise fade from conscious recall. What would otherwise fade from conscious recall? The appreciation that even seemingly ordinary days cannot be relived highlights how easily we overview of everyday experiences until retrospective reflection reveals their significance. This recognition encourages mindful attention to current experiences that will eventually become memories themselves. The advice to cherish your memories and keep them in a place close to your heart suggests both emotional valuing, personal history, and intentional practices to maintain important recollections. This nurturing of autobiographical memory supports identity continuity while honoring relationships and experiences that have shaped personal development. Housing represents another fundamental aspect of human experience, with diverse dwelling types meeting different needs, preferences, and circumstances. Various residential structure houses, apartments, dormitories, farms, institutional facilities, recreational accommodations, mobile homes, vacation properties, and specialized care settings each provide distinctive living experiences with particular advantages and limitations. Single-family houses typically offer privacy, personal space, and potential for customization. Their location in a town positions them within community contexts while maintaining separation from neighbors. This housing type remains culturally dominant in many regions despite requiring greater financial resources than some alternatives. Apartment buildings provide higher density housing, typically with shared walls and facilities. Their common location in a busy city reflects urban land use patterns that maximize housing units per land area. Apartments often require less maintenance responsibility from residents while offering less privacy and customization opportunity than detached houses. Dormitories provide institutional housing primarily for students, with shared facilities and proximate community. The situation of sharing rooms with a classmate creates distinctive social dynamics and adaptation requirements, with limited privacy but built-in community connection. Rural residences like farms combine housing with agricultural production, connecting living arrangements directly to livelihood activities. These settings typically offer space and distance from neighbors, while potentially limiting convenience access to community services and amenities. Institutional housing like prisons represents involuntary residential placement, with the criminal lives in prison acknowledging housing sometimes compulsory nature for individuals who have violated legal standards. These restricted environments prioritize security and supervision over comfort or personal choice. Temporary accommodations serve various purposes, with tents providing recreational housing during summer camp, and hotels or motels serving during vacations or transitions. The distinction between motels with or two full and hotels with many floors as architectural variations within this commercial accommodation category. Mobile homes or trailers offer flexibility for people like to move around from place to place, combining housing mobility with greater comfort than temporary accommodations. These dwellings balance permanence with relocatability, serving both lifestyle preferences and sometimes economic necessities. Vacation properties like cottage by a lake provide secondary residences for recreational purposes, allowing environmental variation and leisure focus during limited occupancy periods. These properties often connect owners to natural settings that contrast with primary residences. Specialized care facilities like retirement homes serve populations with particular needs. The observation that many people who are about the same age as he live there highlights how these settings create age homogeneous communities while providing appropriate support services for older adults. Aspirational residences like palaces represent housing associated with privilege, power, and extraordinary resources. The recognition that you have to be a king or a queen, or a prince or a princess to live in palace, and dwelling types reflect and reinforce social stratification and differential access to resources. This overview of diverse housing types, how residential arrangements reflect and influence social organization, economic circumstances, life stage needs, and cultural values. Where and how we live shapes daily experience in profound ways, affecting everything from privacy and community to convenience and connection with natural environments. Specific rooms within dwellings serve particular functions, with bathrooms dedicated to personal hygiene and grooming activities. These specialized spaces contain fixtures and accessories designed for cleaning the body, eliminating waste, and attending to appearance. Bathing facilities form central bathroom elements with bathtubs, shower heads, and shower curtains enabling whole body cleaning. The option to take a shower by closing the curtain illustrates how single fixtures often serve multiple functions in efficient residential design. Cleansing products, like soap, is used to washiated purposes. Nutriting. Swire. Share. Dealing special body for this product development for different body fitting needs. Complementary items like towels and washcloths support the drying process after bathing. The sink provides a dedicated fixture for hand washing and smaller cleaning tasks. With hot and cold water. Controls allowing temperature regulation. The drain mechanism, with its removable plug, enables water conservation and basin filling when needed. Toilets provide waste elimination fixtures with flushing mechanisms that use water flow to remove waste. The onomatopoeic description that the water swooshes out of it captures the distinction associated with this function. Complementary products like toilet tissue support hygienic use. Storage areas like medicine cabinets accommodate health and grooming products. Painkillers, toothpaste and makeup, providing organized space for items needed in bathroom contexts. Additional products like hairspray, along with brushes and combs, support hair styling, while toothbrushes and dental floss facilitate oral hygiene. Practical challenges arise when household members outnumber bathroom facilities, creating the needing up to use it. This observation, to have more than one bathroom house, acknowledges how architectural design affects daily living logistics and potential sources of household friction. Bedrooms serve different functions, providing spaces for both sleep and personal territory within shared dwellings. These rooms typically contain furniture and accessories specifically designed for comfort, rest, clothing storage, and personal expression. Beds naturally form the central features of these rooms, with components including the frame, mattress, sheets, blankets, pillows, and decorative elements like bedspreads. The description of the bed as nice and soft prioritizes comfort for this furniture to support healthy sleep. Dressers provide storage for clothing items, while often supporting additional functions through attached mirrors and surface space for items like lamps, decorative objects, and personal mementos. The mirror facilitates grooming activities, while photographs of friends and family create visual connections to important relationships within personal space. Practical items like alarm clocks serve specific functions so that I can wake up on time in the morning, connecting bedroom spaces to daily scheduling requirements. These timepieces represent how technology integrates with sleep environments to support broader life activities and responsibilities. Clothing storage occupies significant bedroom space, with both dressers containing deep drawers and housing hanging items on. Closet represents expanded storage capacity that allows for greater wardrobe volume organization. Shoes lined up on the floor of my closet and items stored on shelves at the top of my closet. demonstrate vertical space utilization for different types of possessions. Floor coverings like rugs add comfort, warmth, and decorative elements to bedroom spaces. Window treatments, such as curtains, provide privacy, light control, and aesthetic enhancement, while window placement creates my bedroom window effect of thoughtfully arranged bedroom elements creates environments described as very cozy, supporting in both physical comfort and psychological security. Psychological security. The bedtime routine, turning off lamps, getting under the covers, setting alarm clocks, and laying heads on pillows before falling asleep demonstrates how these spaces and their furnishings support essential rest and recovery in daily life cycles. These detailed explorations of everyday environments and experiences, from the foods we eat to the spaces we inhabit, from the relationships we build to the memories we cherish, how the seemingly ordinary aspects of life contain remarkable complexity, meaning, and connection. By paying attention to these everyday elements, we develop deeper appreciation for the textured, multifaceted nature of human experience and the countless ways we create meaning, thoroughly, interactions with the world around us. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the tapestry of daily life. The ordinary experiences we've explored, from foods we enjoy to the places we live, from childhood memories to future aspirations, remind us that extraordinary meaning often hides within seemingly ordinary moments. I hope this exploration has helped you notice the richness in your own everyday experiences and perhaps see familiar aspects of life through fresh eyes. Whether you're learning English or simply reflecting on life's simple pleasures, remembering that we share these fundamental human experiences creates connection across cultures, languages, and backgrounds. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel to receive notifications about future podcasts. We'd also love to hear about your own everyday experiences. What foods bring you comfort? What hobbies spark your passion, or what childhood memories you cherish the most? Leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts or questions. If you found value in today's discussion, please give this episode up to help others discover life, the simple yet profound moments. Until next time, I'm Grace, wishing you eyes to see the beauty in ordinary days and a heart open to life's wonders.